When you think of a big army, what number comes to mind? 100,000, maybe 500,000? Well, get ready, because some armies in history weren't just big. They were mind-bogglingly massive, numbering in the millions. Let's travel back to 1812. Napoleon Bonaparte, one of history's most famous generals, gathered his Grande Army. We're talking about 600,000 soldiers, a force so large it stretched for miles. He marched them all the way into Russia, confident of a swift victory. But the brutal Russian winter and fierce resistance had other plans. In one of the most catastrophic military disasters ever, the vast majority of that enormous army never made it back home. It was a chilling lesson that size isn't everything. Now let's rewind even further to the Roman Empire. For centuries, Rome dominated the known world, and it did so with a highly professional and disciplined military. At its peak, the Roman army consisted of about 450,000 legionaries and auxiliaries. These weren't just temporary soldiers. They were career professionals stationed across the empire, from the drizzly shores of Britain to the hot sands of Syria, building roads, forts, and maintaining the famous Pax Romana, the Roman peace. Then came the Mongols in the 13th century. Led by Genghis Khan and his successors, they created the largest contiguous land empire in history. How? With armies that were masters of speed and shock tactics. While their numbers at any single battle might not have been the absolute largest, their total force was a constantly moving, highly coordinated wave of cavalry that swept across Asia and into Europe. They were a military phenomenon, conquering more land in 25 years than the Romans did in 400. Fast forward to the 20th century and the sheer scale of warfare explodes. During World War II, the United States mobilized an incredible 16 million people into its armed forces. That's like taking the entire population of a modern-day country and putting them in uniform. These soldiers, sailors, and airmen fought across every corner of the globe, from the beaches of Normandy to the islands of the Pacific. But even that staggering number is dwarfed by their ally, the Soviet Union, facing an existential threat on the Eastern Front. The Soviets mobilized an almost unbelievable 34 million people throughout the war. This colossal effort involved men and women from all walks of life, thrown into the deadliest conflict in human history. The sheer human cost was immense, but their sacrifice was instrumental in defeating the Axis powers. So who holds the ultimate record? The largest army ever assembled in human history belongs to China. Also during the Second World War, known there as the Second Sino-Japanese War, faced with a brutal invasion, China mobilized its entire society. While exact figures are debated by historians, estimates suggest that up to 40 million soldiers were mobilized into the National, Revolutionary Army and various other forces over the course of the long, grueling conflict. 40 million. That is, without a doubt, the single biggest army our world has ever seen. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey through military history fascinating, don't forget to subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more. See you next time.